years start coming and they don't stop coming. Fed to the rules and I hit the ground running. Did it make sense not to live for fun? Your brain gets smart but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? You'll never know if you don't go. You'll never shine if you don't glow. Hey now.
Hey, before the video starts, here's a couple announcements. I've revamped my Twitch channel for more frequent live streams. I tried streaming on YouTube, but found that it really clutters things over here, and the VOD quality on YouTube is garbage, which makes highlight videos much worse than they should be. So I've relaunched twitch.tv/JoeFromSeattle, and we'll be streaming there almost daily. So come by, follow, sub, hang out, whatever. I'll be there every day. Mostly. My other big announcement is I've made a second channel for music stuff. I've been writing and recording music for a long time and figured it was time to start releasing it, but also without cluttering the content on this channel. So there's a link in the description to my music channel if you're into that sort of thing. Alright, back to the video.
So today what I want to talk about is research and PC gaming.
Something that you did absolutely none of before making this video.
So a lot of people get into PC gaming without knowing what they're actually getting into. Let me explain here.
Yeah, no, please do. Please do. Tell me more about what collectively PC gamers think about PC gaming.
There's a lot of people who go to PC gaming and then go back to console gaming because of the simplicity of it.
I'm gonna need a source with that one. So you're a console gamer, you get a PC, you go to PC, and it's just too complicated, so you go back to console without, like, putting any thought into things? I just don't imagine this is a common occurrence. I don't know where you're getting that.
And that's the major big problem here. People get into PC gaming like, yes, I can just buy a PC, just go into this and everything like that. You would be surprised the amount of people who don't know that you have to install a Steam on PC to actually play.
Okay, I am 99% sure you're making that up. Literally everyone who knows anything about video games knows you have to install Steam. If you present me evidence that this is a common misconception, I will eat my entire desk.
It's not on the computer. You have to install, make an account for Steam, Uplay, Origin, Epic Games, whatever you want to play on, whichever, installer you want to play on, and then go from there. There are a tremendous amount of console people who transfer over to PC that don't even know that until they've transferred over to PC, and they're like, excuse me, what? What do you mean I have to do this and have multiple different accounts? I can't just play off one launcher?
Okay, so I don't believe that for a second, that people don't know that. Or maybe you've known one or two people who didn't know that, and now you're generalizing all PC gamers, or all gamers for that matter, or all console gamers for that matter. This video is extremely condescending to console players. I know you intended it to be the opposite, but, like, listen to the stuff that you say in this video. You think really low of console gamers, and you also know pretty much nothing about PC. So you're in a pretty weird limbo here.
No, that's not how it works, guys. If only that was true, but no, it's not like a console where you literally just sit here and just hit a button and it loads up any game you want because it's tailored to that type of hardware.
Okay, being tailored to hardware has nothing to do with launchers and storefronts and accounts. Like, what?
And that's the biggest issue. People go to PC, don't do the major research, and don't want to figure out the solutions themselves, when that is what PC is all about. You're gonna have problems with a game.
Not necessarily.
You're gonna have to troubleshoot problems with a computer.
Not necessarily.
You're gonna have to do certain things to get a game to work that's an older game.
Not necessarily.
It's just how a PC is.
No, it's how some PCs are, and it's how some games are. I mean, I've had next to no problems with my PC. I've had my current build for like a year or so, and that was after I changed some parts in a computer I had for like a year and a half before that. I've had no major troubleshooting issues, like, at all. The only time I've had anything remotely resembling troubleshooting is when I'm, like, installing mods or emulators or something. Stuff that's not, like, a main release. I don't know what you're talking about.
A PC is not plug and play. For some games it is. For most games it is. But it is not by any means plug and play.
Okay, so for a lot of games it is plug and play, but it's also not by any means plug and play. Aside from the fact that this statement just doesn't make any sense because you're referring to the hardware, not the software. It's not the software that's plug and play, it's the hardware that's plug and play, meaning it is or it is not. It's not sometimes plug and play, it is always yes or no.
Now when I say plug and play, I mean you turn this thing on, immediately can hit a game and load it up and just play it without adjusting any settings, without doing any of that. It's not possible on a PC. It's not possible. Okay? It doesn't matter what you have. You got to adjust either audio settings, you got to adjust either graphical settings. Something along those lines have to be adjusted.
I love when console guys say stuff like this. And yeah, I'm calling you a console guy. I'm convinced that you got a PC like a week ago, and now you just think you're an expert on these things. But I love when console guys say how it's impossible to start a game without changing settings. First of all, you're wrong. You don't have to change settings. Second of all, changing settings takes like a minute tops. Maybe a couple minutes if you really want to get precise. And thirdly, is that a word? Thirdly? I don't know. We're going with it. Thirdly, you have to do that on console too. When you start a new game on console, the first thing you have to do is adjust the safe zone and the brightness. Adjusting the safe zone and brightness takes you slightly less time than changing settings on PC. Which is optional, by the way. And also, having settings on PC is a good thing. You get to customize the game to how you want it. You get to customize the performance, improve the performance, and get the game running how you want it to be. That's something that you literally cannot do on console. So yes, sometimes it takes a little extra time on PC to make use of a feature that consoles don't have. Incredible. I'm learning so much from you.
There's no way about it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's just how PC is.
Okay, this is a game that I just installed, Cuphead. I just reinstalled it on a fresh account. It doesn't have any settings in. It's nothing. I'm not finding any problems here.
A very good example would be the gameplay you're watching in the background, which, by the way, in case you don't know, Just Cause 4 is free on Epic Games. I'm not an affiliate with them.
Yeah, I could have guessed that part.
Just letting you guys know so you can get a free game. I'll put the top link in the description for it if you guys want to go check it out. But this game right here, when it loaded up, the graphics were blurry and grainy and didn't look well and everything. I had to go into the graphics setting, and it had my game on 720p, even though I have the hardware capable to run it at 144 FPS, 1080p, 1440p, stuff like that.
Okay, so you changed the resolution. How long did that take you? Like, I know you have an extremely low perception of console gamers, but literally anyone who plays games can figure out what you just described. Switching a game from 720p to 1080p. That's like the easiest thing you could ever do. It takes less than 5 seconds. And also, that's glossing over the fact that on PC, you have the option to choose the resolution you want. If you're really trying to present this as a negative or a complication, yikes. Big yikes in chat.
Because I have a 2070, Super. It should be able to absolutely decimate that. But it set the game to 720p and everything to low.
Okay, so change it.
And some people don't want to have to deal with that, so they go to other people to fix the issue.
People go to other people to fix graphic settings. Okay, I know I have a habit of speaking hyperbolically, but I feel confident saying that what you just described literally has never happened. Someone opens a game, the settings are on low, so they go to someone else to fix it. That has never happened in the history of humanity. That might be a little hyperbolic. I'm keeping it in there.
That's the problem. People make a switch to PC gaming and then don't want to stay at PC gaming because they realize, oh, this is too complicated. It seems like a headache. I don't want to have to deal with this, whatever.
Okay, so people switch to PC. They don't know how to change settings in a menu that are labeled low, medium, high, or 720p, 1080p, 1440p. You're saying people switch to PC and then switch back to console because they can't figure that out. You're either making this up as you go along, or you're describing a 6-year-old. And honestly, 6-year-olds can probably figure that out now. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been 6.
But that is PC gaming.
No, that is a situation that does not happen ever. And if it does, I will put my entire apartment in my pocket right now.
If you're watching this video, let me know in the comments below. How many times have you yourself had to figure out a solution for a game you were playing because nobody else had the hardware configuration that you had when playing the game?
Okay, well, it depends what you define as a problem. You define changing settings as a problem. By that logic, every game I've ever played on PC has had a problem. But that's not what I would describe a problem as. I would describe a problem as, the game not opening. Or the frame rate being bad when it shouldn't be. That's a problem. Screen tearing because my memory's getting eaten by something else, that could be a problem. Gretchen Wieners and her crumbling friendship with Regina George, that's a problem. What you're describing is a learning curve, not a problem. Yeah, you have to learn how to press escape, go down to options, and then go through a menu with settings that are very easy to understand. That's not a problem, that's a learning curve. That's part of the transition from one platform to another. And as for the specific hardware configuration comment, that games are somehow inherently more problematic on certain sets of hardware, and you can't have a friend with another set of hardware. Again, that's something that just doesn't happen. The only example of that I can think of is certain games being buggy on the 20 series, which is kind of an isolated incident. And again, it's not even like a troubleshooting thing. It's like, oh, look, there's the problem. Oh, this game's running weird. What do you have? 20 series? Hey, you know, it could be that. Those cards are kind of weird. Or the old ones, at least. I'm rambling.
And that's the biggest problem when PC gaming happens.
When PC gaming happens. So ominous. I hate it when PC gaming happens.
People build these PCs, they do research, they build these they don't do enough research, they build these PCs and then expect everybody to help them, you know, when they expect everybody else to have the same specs as them.
If you build a PC, you should know right off the bat that not everyone's going to have the same specs as you. Because you're building a PC out of a selection of specs. Like, it's very simple cause and effect here.
Or they try to sit here and look up a general fix and stuff like that. That's not how PCs work.
PCs don't work by looking up general fixes? Really? You can't do that? You sure? You're gonna that's the hill you're gonna die on?
If you look at every single one of my tutorials that I upload on my channel, I say this may work for you.
Yeah, after watching this video, I kind of do want to go look at your other tutorials. I mean, the like to dislike ratios are just incredible.
Right? This may work for you, may not work for everybody. The reason being is everybody has different hardware.
It's not a collection of atoms where there's like a fucking 50 million different combinations. There's a handful of different parts in a PC. In a handful of big parts, at least. You've got the motherboard, the memory, the GPU, the CPU, the hard drive. That's kind of it. Those are the big parts. And of those big parts, you have the popular brands, the popular families of products in those, like, you know, you have the 20 series and the 10 series. And then for CPUs, you have like the Ryzen 5s and Ryzen 7s and Intel i7s. You know, you have these families of parts in these 5 main categories. And a lot of the times, when we're talking about gaming, most of the performance aspects are going to be coming from the GPU and CPU. Sometimes the memory. Mainly the GPU and CPU. And in case you haven't noticed, a lot of people are running the same GPUs and CPUs. I swear to God, you got a PC like 2 weeks ago and now you want to be Linus Tech Tips.
The same fix is not going to work across all the board for every single person. It's not possible.
It literally is possible. And it happens.
It's not going to happen. It's not there, right?
It is there. It does happen. You're wrong.
It's not going to happen for everybody. One fix is not going to work for everybody on PC because everybody has different hardware.
Okay, this is partially true. Partially true. I'm throwing you a lifeline here. It's partially true. The same fixes aren't always going to work for every person because not every person's problems are coming from the same thing. And that's part of the beauty of PC gaming, really, is that people can have, yes, there are more possible problems, but there are also more possible fixes. It's not like on the console where if you have a problem with the system, that's just kind of it. If a game launches with poor performance on the console, good luck getting better performance. But if a game launches and you're having poor performance on your PC, you can look into it and see why. But you seem to think it's a common issue that people don't know how to look at settings menus. I swear, this is the most condescending video I've ever heard.
And people don't understand this when transferring over. If they don't do enough research and know that's going to happen when they move to PC gaming.
When I made the switch to PC gaming, I did not know how many graphic settings there would be. It's true, you got me there. I didn't know there would be that many. You know how long it took me to learn those different settings? Like 3 games. 2 or 3 games of toying around with the settings, and then I pretty much had the basics down. Guess I'm just really fucking smart. You should sub to me. I'm really smart.
So when it does happen, they're fed up. They don't want to do that.
I don't think most people will give up on something that they bought because they had one issue with it. That might be a you thing. You should work on your patience and your problem solving.
And that is, in my opinion, the biggest problem. Is people go into PC gaming, think it's going to be the simple thing, you know, you just press buttons, play games, and it is once you get it all set up. But before that, you have to do multiple things, and a lot of people don't want to do that.
I've said it before like 50 times, but the process of setting up a PC versus the process of setting up a console is basically the same. You buy the thing, you plug it in, there's initial updates, then there's getting the hang of the interface and the home screen, and then that's it. You're there.
And I've seen it. I've literally seen it.
Oh, I don't doubt that you've seen really terrible things from PCs. I don't doubt that for a second.
Or some people will build PCs, sit here, try to play games, wonder why they're not getting these FPSs, wonder what's wrong with it. Because they didn't adjust any graphical settings. They did not download the latest driver. You have to do this stuff to make sure your machine stays up to date and runs optimally.
When someone starts talking about how essential drivers are, that's when I kind of know they don't actually know what they're talking about. Drivers are not as essential as people make them out to be. I haven't updated my drivers in a few weeks. I updated them back when Warzone came out, so however long ago that was. And even then, I only did it because someone reminded me. They were like, oh, the new driver came out. I was like, oh, might as well let that download while I'm working out or something. And as for the other things, you're throwing out buzzwords that just don't connect with each other. System runs efficiently because of graphics drivers and game settings. You're just throwing out these words. I don't think you know what they mean.
On a console, you literally just go and download one update, you're done. That's it. You don't have to adjust any shit. You don't have to do anything to the console at all whatsoever.
Okay, you're literally wrong. You do have to adjust settings when you start a new game on console. Also, consoles have much longer updates, much longer downloads because of bottlenecking and just poor hardware all around. And also, again, the things that you're describing as negatives are additional features that the console doesn't have. You're saying it's a bad thing that we can update drivers and change settings. You can't do that at all on console. You're not comparing 1 to 1. You're comparing like 16 to 1.
Pretty much, because they all run on the same hardware. But with PC, it's completely different. You have to make sure you download the right driver for your right graphics card.
Okay, making sure you have the right driver is extremely easy. Like, it's not like there's a list of drivers and you have to just guess which one it is. You just get the most recent one. It's really easy.
You have to make sure you update the right chipset for your motherboard and CPU.
See, this is what I'm talking about with BuzzBuzz. The right chipset for your motherboard and CPU. Bro, you don't have to act like you know what these things are. You don't have to do this. I haven't heard the word chipset in like 2 years.
There's multiple different things, you see what I'm saying? And not enough people do research when getting into PC gaming to understand this. So then when a problem happens, they don't want to figure it out themselves. They want to go to somebody else to have them figure it out for them. That's not how PC works.
It sounds to me like you had a really bad experience with your first built PC. And now that you've figured out what was wrong, you're just assuming that's the experience that everyone else had. You're kind of not right.
Because somebody else has different hardware, different configuration, and ultimately may not even be able to help you with that situation because it was a different hardware configuration.
I'm really struggling to come up with things to say. I feel like I've already covered all the bases. How much longer is in the video? 51 seconds.
A good example of this would be one of my friends approached me about a graphics card that was making noise.
Oh, graphics card that was making noise? Okay, well, graphics cards do make noise. That was another thing that I had to get used to when I first switched over to PC. I wasn't used to the sounds that PCs made. But, you just get used to it. But if you're concerned with your PC making too much noise, make sure everything's plugged in all the way. Maybe get a program to monitor your fans. Make sure your fans aren't going too hard when they don't need to be. Shit, sorry. Problem solving's not allowed. I got it. Fuck, dude. I didn't mean to problem solve. Never mind. I can't help you, dude. PC sucks.